As the 2023 college football season is coming to an end, it's very certain that Georgia is a scary team. Do people actually know how crazy and history-making a three-peat for the Georgia Bulldogs would be? Well, let's go back all the way to 1934 through 1936. Yes, that's the last time a D1 college football program won not one, not two, but 3 national titles in a row. The last team to do it was Minnesota. Now, it hasn't been done in over 80 years. This is a very different era of college football where recruiting is becoming a huge part of building your team, along with the new transfer portal coming along and becoming a huge part of college football. And this is also only the beginning of huge changes coming because 2024 is the start of a 12-team playoff and conference realignment. And Georgia has dominated recruiting throughout the last couple years, and they've done a very good job in the modern day era of college football. And they have really taken over the SEC as the top dog. But the question a lot of people may be wondering, is this the team that can pull off a three-peat? Alabama had their time, but Georgia has a chance to do something Alabama could never do under Nick Saban and three-peat. And it's looking very realistic for Georgia this year. And I believe the college football playoff is very open. But with Florida State losing their quarterback, the teams may be narrowing down. But overall, if you ask me, Georgia looks like the most complete team this year. And I did want to talk about why I think it's realistic for a Georgia three-peat in 2023. But before I get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave a like. All the support you guys leave on the channel helps the process and what I want to accomplish on YouTube. So I really do appreciate all the subs I've been gaining, and also let me know down in the comments how you guys feel about a Georgia three-peat in 2023. But without further ado, let's get into this. Now I'm going to talk about this Georgia team and how good they are all around, and why I think Georgia can three-peat. And let's start it off with the main reason for this team's success in becoming the top dog in the SEC. And it's obviously the head coach, Kirby Smart. When you list the best college football coaches in the country, you have to have Kirby Smart at the top of your list. Georgia was a team that hadn't won a national title since 1980. But once Kirby Smart came along, everything changed. And they have dominated the college football world with the back-to-back national champions and many great seasons since he came along in 2016. A lot of people may not know this, but Kirby Smart has been around for a long time, as he actually started his coaching career in 1999 as an admin assistant for the Georgia Bulldogs. He's been on a journey with many different coaching jobs in the last 20 years, but after coming back to Georgia to become the head coach in only his second year, he made it to the national title game in 2017, only to fall short to Alabama. All of the accolades are there, and Kirby Smart has cemented his legacy as a coach. And when people think of the great coaches of college football, he may be up there with Nick Saban by the end of his career, if he isn't already in the conversation. It's going to be hard to surpass Nick Saban though, but I will admit, Kirby Smart is doing a spectacular job at Georgia. For my next reason, I think they have a shot at three-peating, and it's because their offense has been really good this year, possibly one of the better offenses Kirby Smart has had. And Carson Beck, one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the country, leads that team. Carson Beck hardly makes mistakes, and he's really efficient. He has really grown as a quarterback throughout the season, and although he may have started off the season a little slower, the dude has really become a leader. And the last 2 games, he's only thrown 1 interception, and he helped them through a tough 3-game stretch against top 20 teams. Carson Beck isn't a quarterback in the Heisman picture, and maybe he shouldn't win the Heisman, but he should at least be in the conversation because he doesn't get talked about enough. But something everybody knows is how good Georgia's offensive line is. They have a lot of guys who can run the ball behind that offensive line. 16 guys for Georgia have run the ball this year, and a lot of guys have got some decent yards running the ball. And it gets even better with the passing game because they have arguably the best player in the country, Brock Bowers, who is coming off an injury and missed a couple games this year. But there's no denying what Brock Bowers is capable of doing, and he has a bright future. The dude is a monster. He kind of reminds me of Prime Gronk. But they have a lot of other guys who can make plays catching the ball too, with Ladd McConkey, who has really stepped up, and also Rosamie Jackson, who has been impressive this year also. The list goes on, and at their receiver spot, they are very loaded this year. And this offense might not be super explosive like Oregon or Washington, but this offense is really good, and it might just be all around better than anybody else's offense in all of college football. With all the weapons they have, with Brock Bowers and the offensive line standing out. I may have listed the offense as one reason they have a shot at winning a national title, but it's a lot more than one reason. Because there's so many keys to that offense that will play a factor to Georgia winning a national title in 2023. Another reason I think they have a shot is because of their defense. Now, I don't know if this Georgia defense is as good as any of their other defenses has been, and they have shown some gaps in the rush defense this year, and they gave up some big rushing plays to Missouri and Tennessee, but this defense is still hard to score on, and they're still 5th in points per game on defense. And they dominated Tennessee and Ole Miss, 2 ranked teams, which is really impressive. And this team is just tough. It's plain and simple. Kirby Smart puts a lot of toughness in this team. But something I would say about this team that may be different this year than any other year is that I'm more concerned about their defense than their offense. But when you look at legit national title contenders, you always got to look at the defense and the offense. And for the most part, Georgia is good on both sides of the ball. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't see any team this year in college football with no weaknesses. Georgia may stand out as the most complete and possibly the best team in the country, but it's difficult to three-peat. But there's definitely a possibility with how legit this Georgia team looks. A team that could be in Georgia's way and looking to get their revenge from their national championship loss to Georgia is Alabama. If we're looking for a team that can stop Georgia, it's likely that it could be Alabama. I mean, who else other than Nick Saban could knock off Georgia? Nick Saban and Kirby Smart in a rematch is going to be a very hyped game. And I can't wait to preview that game. But if you look back, the last team that actually beat Georgia was Alabama in the 2021 SEC Championship game. Kirby Smart has had a lot more success ever since knocking off Alabama in 2021. And this is really going to be huge for both teams. For Nick Saban and Alabama, this is your chance to get back on top and show that you're done hiding in Georgia's shadow. While for Kirby Smart and Georgia, this is your chance to cement your legacy and prove that you're the top dog in the SEC, and that this is a new era of college football that is ran by the Georgia Bulldogs. Conference Championship Week is going to be great this year, and honestly, it's the start of a new era. The Oregon and Washington rematch is looking likely, and some people may be looking at the game as the biggest game of the season because it's the last ever Pac-12 championship, which will likely be a top 5 matchup as long as Oregon and Washington win their last game. Now, don't get me wrong, I know Oregon and Washington are legit teams this year, and we're heading into a new era of college football with the new 12-team playoff. But can anything compare to how big that Georgia versus Alabama is going to be? I don't know. Either way, Conference Championship Week this year is going to have many top 10 matchups, and also we'll have some top 15 matchups. And I don't want to talk too much about it because that's for another video, but I just can't help to think about the season coming to an end. And I can't wait to make a video on Conference Championship Week. But anyways, let's wrap up this Georgia video. And Georgia's ultimate test will be Alabama, as the winner of that game could possibly go on to win the national title. And you can't lose that game or else you might not even get in the playoffs with how tight the playoff race will be. And how many good teams there are this year. It is going to be hard to leave a 12-1 Georgia out though. So it will be interesting to see how everything turns out. Because Georgia is back-to-back national champions. And will the committee leave them out? I don't know. But anyways, that is going to wrap up the video. If you guys enjoy these videos and want me to talk about any topics around the college football world, let me know down in the comments below. And also smash that like button and subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications because we post every day and we stay as active with our community as possible. And I do really appreciate the support you guys leave. And I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. And peace out, guys.